everybody, and welcome back. It is the truck series tonight here at BMRL Network, and it's going to be here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 114 laps, but before that, we've got 4.5 minutes of qualifying to deal with as everybody gets set up and have a time on board. We had a nice and eventful race last night in the Xfinity series, and we are now on for it here in the truck series. Last time around, it was a great one at Daytona, and it's going to be here to follow it up by the one here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we've got first car out on track already, and it is car number 33 of Dustin Hardy out there, the first one to be seen out on track here tonight. It'll be interesting to see how all of this is going to be working out between these drivers in all those 114 laps. Before that, they've got to deal with this qualifying session. As it looks like he's staying to that inside line, gets back on the uphill there, as he's just going to try and go around to do a lap and have a time on board, which is going to see him ready up and have his grid spot set up for the start of the race. The only one we see so far out on track, though, but I'm sure there will be other drivers going around as well. And he is back. There was a bit of a moment there, and there we go. We've got the overlays dismissed for a little bit, but there we go. We're just seeing the driver out on track. He seems to be going slow a little bit there, maybe a slowdown, and heading back into the pits after having done a lap, and he stops there on the track. Okay. As we're just waiting, some drivers join in, some people having those issues with iRacing, but as soon as they are back up and we go underway for the qualifying session, and there'll be nothing but fantastic entertainment and excitement as we're just about to move into the qualifying session and have all those drivers do their laps. We already have the times on board by these drivers. It's Kevin with Kevin car 42, 31.281 for him, the fastest time so far. Don led car number 19 with 31.3 to himself, and then it's Austin Hund. It is then Ivan, Jeff Peppers in 5th place, Tyler Jenkins 6th, 7th Chris Mayo, and then the rest of them follow. It is a lot of the cars tonight. The slowest is Adam Gardner, 113.4, but I'm sure he's going to be improving in those final laps probably. He's going to be able to recover and get it to the top as we see 87. If it's the same number, it should be Chris Cornett, but we'll see. Who is it here? Number 4, and all of these drivers around. It is Cornett indeed, running the number 87. Last night in the Xfinity Series, he had a race to forget, being involved in a fair share of incidents. But here tonight, he's going to go for it all. And we're going to see where is he going to be putting it. At the moment, we don't have him set up, have a lap time on board at the moment. I'm sure he's going to be in there in the mix of those top drivers. P16 at the moment for him. He is not able to go far more than that. But how much does he go? He sure does go up the order. And that is quickest, as he goes from P16 to P1, 113.25, 266 in And there we go. Everybody is out there on gridding up. We're just waiting for these drivers to grid up, and we will be getting into the race started as soon as we have them all done. It should be now starting anytime soon. All of the trucks as we have this qualifying session. We don't have the starting grid overlays, but we definitely have the results from the qualifying session. It's Chris Cornet on top alongside Kevin Winker. Then it's going to be Don Ray in third place. Austin Hund followed up by Ivan. And then it's going to be Jeff Peppers and Tyler Jenkins in 6th and 7th place to themselves. That's going to be Corey Denson, Chris Mayo, and Sean Cross completing that top 10. It's going to be Corey Stibley, Rob Denton, Kyle Peacock in 12th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, those three drivers. Then it's going to be Jeff Crossby. Then it's in 14th, Dustin Hardy 15th, and it's going to be Darby in 16th. Then it's going to be Cameron Welch in 17th, Todd Shemp, and William Gay and Adam Gardner completing that top 20 here tonight as we have the pace car going on and ready up for that rolling start. Race car is on, the rolling grid is on, and anytime we are going green, it should be exciting to see how the top two are going to be there to do it. How are they going to be doing? How are anybody behind are they going to be doing? And I'm sure all of them at this point in time would just be thinking to stay within this within the race and not run themselves off, not run them and others out around. Which of course last night we saw a lot of incidents, but I'm sure it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. So it's of course going to be 3 stages tonight. The first one's going to be lap 35, and then second one's lap 70. Then it's going to be the final, third and final one to 114 laps, which is going to be the final one. But before that, they've got this first, which is going to be 35 laps to be going. The car seems to be slowing up. As the pace car went in, it has went green, and it's going to be green flag racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That is already almost really.
You're going to lose them for a second. Just hang tight. You're losing them a second. Hang tight. You're losing them. And it seems to be iRacing.
We lost that for a little bit because of a few technical issues, but we're going to be back with it as there is already an outside and an inside line forming up. Meanwhile, those on the outside already on the attack to Chris Cornett, leading this race so far on the inside line, but we'll see how this is going to be faring out at the moment. We have, that is very close there. Drivers just moving left and right on those inside line and the outside lines. They're just trying to stay close within the leaders.
Logos, you're always going to come back up. Here we go. You're good. Should be stable.
And there we go. We just don't have the overlay yet, but it's very close between there. One of the cars on the inside and the one on the outside there. 15, I believe that was on the outside, and one of them on the inside. Still very close. This track, of course, with the nature of it being very, very wide in some parts of it and very narrow and tight in one or the others, and which is what makes it very interesting, as there's going to be 3 wide and on the just between. Outside, it'll be interesting to see what is it all going to be going on. Meanwhile, Donlad in second place. as we've got the fastest lap by Homburg at the moment for 29.461, but that's going to be amazing. Chris Cornett leading up from Donlet Ray just behind them. On the outside line would be for the 42, and then it's going to be 73 and 15, all of them all around, and it was all these drivers, and one of them switching up to the inside and still staying far away from
going to the rear, going to the rear, going to the rear. He's going to the rear.
And he's going to the rear. He's going to the rear of the field. He's just backing up and maybe stay away from any of that trouble or any battle for time being, and he knows that. Or that he's falling a bit quite a lot though at the moment in time, and it was car number 1 who made that amazing move going 3 wide. But it'll be interesting to see anything more we see up from all of these one more time. They're still going through though. There's only a fair share of cars on the outside line and on the inside line. Very close. Meanwhile, the outsiders for car number 42 around the outside of Chris Cornett, and they almost going to be touching. They almost did make contact. That could have been interesting had they just touched for a little bit. These cars, of course, not that heavy, so only a little bit of a contact could be ending you up in the wall, which has been very fragile, at least in the Xfinity series, and the trucks here and there as well. So I think just all these drivers would have just been sitting together and having a word that just don't end each other's race, and I'm sure if they still end up doing that, there is going to be more complications. But car number 22 just moving away, falling behind a little bit. I think number 1's got a big chance of moving to the inside line. He's not quite doing it, so he thinks that the outside line is going to be the one to go. Meanwhile, Cornett it's finding it hard to try and defend from 42 there around the outside. The rest of the field out there as well. And that's yellows out, and then yellows out. That is going to be caution. Yellow flags, and that is one of those cars going behind, and I'm sure there might have been one more big shunt out there, or something has happened, and it definitely has. We were just talking about how drivers would be wanting to not end each other's race, and we'll see what is going to be happening there, and that is a huge incident. That is a huge incident, and that's going to be a pace car out already. That was somewhat just going into... So that was number 3, maybe not that with 88 there. We'll see what happened. He's far away from 88. He hit the wall on his own and just ended up being into others. That is 24 and 63 going wide. And those guys, without even having to do anything with him, they've ended up being the victim of it. And they would not be liking it. I'm sure they'll be in the pits. Meanwhile, 24 and 3 already back out on track there. Meanwhile, 42, I'm assuming he was at the front of the field. Indeed, is at the front of the field. It was the other drivers getting lapped out there. We're on lap 9, and already the first caution has came out, and that was the thing we were talking about. These drivers staying away from each other, but that has not happened. Has not been the case. Yep, stream gone. There we go. The pace car is out, and that incident, the first one, which just happened to be on lap 9 already, it's going to be yellows out for a few laps, as we'll be going green in any time soon. With these drivers already eagerly waiting, I'm sure, all going single file here, so they know they don't want to be ruining their races, or in fact others' races, as we saw with number 3, just hitting the wall on his own and taking others out, which would be very disheartening, at least for him, but for all those around him as well. Interesting to see how this is all going to be shaping out. Currently 42 leading the pack ahead of everyone. Chris Cornett going to try and do everything to get back and jump back on him and try and get ahead of him anytime, any chance he gets there. Of course, those on the inside would be looking to do the same as well, get up and get forward. But all the time as it is in these oval races, They're all very, very close racing every time. They're going double file. They're going one high and low lines. It is always very interesting and always very engaging to see who's going to be the one coming out on top. As we have all of them. It's a long field of cars as compared to last night, but I'm sure all of them would be on. So this is going to be the second and last race of this week before we are back after Thanksgiving from next week, and the Cup Series would be continuing on there. Still yellow, still staying behind the pace car, not in so far. I don't have the overlays. And pace car is in, and that's going to be green flag racing once again on lap 11, which is going to be at 12, I believe it is. It is indeed 12, lap 12 we move him to, and that's going to be Chris Cornet on the outside, 87 going at it. Meanwhile, Toyn at 69 and 21 on their own fight as well. There's going to be 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside fighting for position. Meanwhile, others getting up behind as well. There's a very, very close racing so far at this moment. On the inside, Donled and that 42 car, all of them out there in 69. We saw in that previous race was all together with those top guys, and he's at it once again, and it's going to be nicely done by Chris Cornet. 42, they're trying to defend from both of those drivers as he's going to move to the outside lane as well, maybe thinking that that's more effective and more quicker than the inside here so far, but we'll see how this is going to be as at the moment 19 is having to defend from those on the outside, who's going to try and keep it there. Meanwhile, 42 and 87 both 2 car lengths ahead of those cars behind. They could be switching to the inside line anytime soon. All of them are at it at the moment. The first state so far. Meanwhile, Chris Cornet's going to move to the inside line and have his chance and take his chance of getting ahead of everyone and getting that lead to himself, and he's done it so far for time being, but anybody behind could be challenging up anytime soon. Meanwhile, the 42 is not backing out. He's not going to be giving him any chances, and anything Chris Cornet's going to leave out, he's going to be taking it. Meanwhile, 19's not far away as well, and for a moment we thought he was going to move to the inside line and make it a 3-wide moment for a little bit. So far, they went all fine. So far, they have kept it all clean and clear. Just going double file. Nobody risking it to go triple. Nobody risking it to go 3 wide so far. They all want to be having a race. They all want to be completing the race. Meanwhile, we have the car on the outside, just on board in there. Having a look. Meanwhile, 24, I believe the lapped car is just getting out of everybody's way, having to do so. Of course, there's 87. Chris Cornet still leading it, still getting ahead of everyone. Meanwhile, Donled now has a chance. Car number 19 moving to having the inside line. Chris has to move to the outside. Could be a chance for the 19 to take the lead. It'll be a very tight fight out there. Meanwhile, the back of the field having their own battles as well. The top leaders are at it, and Chris on that outside line. That outside line, just like last night in that Xfinity Series, seems to be the better one and the one that has more power and pace advantage over the low line first so far in this race, but we'll see how this is going to be going on. Look how Chris Cornet is placing his car there, just in those wider parts of the track, just placing his car together and pretty much in those both lines, high and low, in between those guys, trying to just defend from both of them, not let the 42 through, but not let the 19 through as well, which of course he hasn't went at it so far. And there could be a chance as 42 switches to the inside line, and he's going to try and take the lead. He's going to try and take the charge of the rest of the field, and he's going to try and do it so far. He's went from the outside to the inside, and the move has been done. So the outside line seems to be the one to be trying overtaking everybody around, as Donlet now, Ray at 19 gets together with the rest of the field. But once again, the leader just still staying 1 car ahead and be the leader. It's looking like nobody's together with the leader so far. For in a few moments, we think the 19's with him, but they end up falling short for a little bit. Meanwhile, 69 and that other white car, which is 21, very, very close together as well. They all at it. They all will try and take their chances, but I'm sure they're all waiting for their moments, and nobody wants to risk it all in that first stage. They are all going to be playing it for. Meanwhile, 42 once again still staying the whole car ahead, still keeping his lead. Meanwhile, others behind would be looking for their chance, for their moment anytime soon, but not so far in this race. 42 now once again placing the car in between those two drivers and defend from both of them. And I think car number 19, as he comes back to the inside line, I think that was one of the cars, as Donald's going to make it almost 3 wide as he went over that red and white line.
Yeah, Zab, that's so hard to do. You get 3 wide like that here, that red and white line there, you can really jack the car up. You have to really grab a hold of the wheel, hang on to it, and you see what it did there. It got that outside line rolling for him, Zab. And you take a look, Chris Cornett again, back out to the race lead one more time, bud. That is so difficult. Zab, what is your thoughts so far, man?
It's been interesting. I mean, we'll see how this is going to be going. 35, the first stage is going to be. I'm sure everybody is talking about what they would be pretty much doing in that final stage, maybe, which is the most laps from lap 70 to 114. But I'm sure everybody, at least the top leaders, are looking at that first stage win as well. Everybody will be wanting to see what they can do. That was very close there between Cornet and 42 there.
I don't think I'd be blocking quite that hard, Zab, not this early on here tonight.
But definitely, the fight is on, the race is on. Meanwhile, 19 on the inside could be going through and getting that lead that he's been wanting to do so far. But definitely, we are seeing that defending and definitely that will to try and not let anybody past you. So sure, but I think they all have to not only think about this stage, but the remainder of the race as well.
Whoa, that got dicey. Whoa, sorry about that.
Very close and.
Well, what do you think, Zab? We're almost to the end of the stage here. Do we see somebody try something crazy to get some stage points here?
Sometimes we see, as in fact last night, we had a few drivers, I'll tell you a story about. They were going all smooth for all of those pretty much 34 laps, and on the final few ones, they gave it all, and both the top 2 drivers ended up running themselves off, and then they pretty much had the worst race they could be possible. So I'm sure they all have that in mind and everything, that they not only have to get this over the line in first place, but even if they're taking 3rd or 4th in this one, they have to be the one fighting for it in those final ones, which will be important, especially if it's the race win, to see what they're all going to be taking it through. We're already on lap 24 out of 114, and in fact it's going to be 35 when it all goes good yellow again, and that'll be it of the first stage, as they're almost going 3 wide. For a moment we saw cars going for it, but again it's just so tight, this track. In some parts you'll be going 3 wide and it'll end up getting narrow and tight. You won't even realize, and sometimes, and probably the incident we saw earlier when the driver's hitting the wall would have been that as well. He would just be in his own zone trying to defend, trying to do his race, but as the walls just come very fast at you at fast speeds, quite hard to judge in those final moments.
That is the hard part of this, man. Judging your times and where you can catch a car and not get into them, right? Not turn them around. You want to give them a shove, but not enough to turn the truck around, right? It's such a delicate balance, as we had a car in the wall back there, and he's in the grass. He's in the grass, and we got a caution.
And we got a caution already, as we're just even discussing about that what could go wrong for yourself, and you could make it go wrong for others as well. As we have, I believe that's car number 1 having smoke coming out of it, and we'll see what just happened there. And that was one of them scraping the wall, and that is 15 and 1, both of them going wide. Was the worst of them hitting the wall once again, and one did it, and that was probably the reason he had smoke coming out of his car, and he'll have to be having a long few minutes inside that pit road to try and repair his car and repair the damage, everything they can. And that is a caution already, the second one in this first stage. So interesting to see what they all would be thinking about this, but the rest of the stages as well. Pretty much They're not waiting at all for those final moments. They're all going at it, even at the start.
Yeah, they are, and with the yellow backing out here, they'll slow them back down. Folks, me and Zab going to take a break here, and we'll come right back for the restart. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Me and Zab back with you. Zab, what are your thoughts so far, buddy?
Interesting. I mean, we'll see what they're all would be thinking. Still a few laps before the end of the stage. We already have 2 cautions, and safe to say the drivers are not being cautious. At least some of them already having those incidents, and drivers going wide, probably hitting the walls and catching others. So even if they're trying to stay away from each other, they somehow end up hitting the walls and pretty much making contact with one or the other drivers, and that ends up causing the situation a little bit.
Right.
A little bit.
A little bit nuts out there. They just the pushes just get too hard. You know what I mean? You try to help each other, and the push just gets way too hard.
It really does. All of them pretty much doing what they can for themselves and for others around as well. Try and take this race as long as they can, safe as possible. But of course, at some point or another in the race, you're thinking about yourself as well. You know, maybe some selfishness comes in you, and you're like, I need to get those points. Why am I letting these drivers stay ahead and probably take that few extra points more than myself? So that at one point or another that kicks in. It's racing, you know. It just that selfishness that maybe sometimes you're working as a team, or even if you're not if you're not a team, you're working together with all the group of drivers to take this race long, and. There we go. The pace car comes in, and that's going to be going green very soon as we're off the line, and that'll be going green on lap 31. And those final few laps before the end of this first stage here at the moment, 87 Chris Gornet leads it up from 42. Windmill car number 19 right behind as well, and some of them we've seen in between have made their way up, and that is 69 on the inside line, second place on that inside line. Meanwhile, 21 on that inside in third place as well. Meanwhile, everybody right behind, very close, going at it now. They want to be having that first stage win. It's going to be looking very close between 87 and 42, but don't point out 69 and 19 there. They'll be having their go at it as well. Any move they can make, any chance they think that there is for them to make and get ahead and get that first stage win would be very interesting to see what they can do. So 21 and 83 right behind, as well as all those right behind those guys. It's just trying to go double file at the moment in a position so far. Stable still position. Not much being switching unless It's the two leaders, not much shifting around, and that was 21 almost going into 83 there. That would have been nasty had had those two made contact. Still going to be interesting to see. So, and definitely those, not only those leaders, but everybody behind looking to take as much as they can. Of course, at the moment, 83 and 21 fighting for a position up there as well. They're going to be all for it and not going to be backing out or give each other any space to breathe or have a bit of a chance at it. Meanwhile, 42 and 19 ahead on that outside line. That seems to be working very well for those guys so far. 8:33 now, not just 2 more laps to the end. It's going to be 1 more lap to the end. We're on 34, so it's going to be 34 and 35 to the end of the stage, and 87 now on the inside line as 83 now moves from outside to the inside. Saw an opportunity and a chance to get ahead of the 21 car there, and he's done it so far. But meanwhile, right on that outside line, it's going to be 73, I believe, on the outside of him. He's going to be giving him the challenge and the chance of getting ahead as well. He's moved it through on the inside, but the outside line just seems to be having that little bit more extra speed, extra pace advantage between following each other out there, and definitely that is happening in all of this drafting. Drivers doing what they are so far, and it is lap 35. So coming across that line, we're going to have our winner of the first stage. It's going to be very close between 42 and 87 there. Who is it going to be coming out ahead? That's going to be 87 ahead. Chris Cornett ahead of everyone, and he's just getting closer and closer to that finish line to get to the end of this first stage. And is there going to be any chance again from 42? No, that is not. And Chris Cornett is going to be taking it all in that first stage win. It has went yellow now. It's going to be another caution. We had a few of those in that first stage, but of course this is the caution break, and get all these drivers we're going to see head into the pit lane, have themselves repair any damage that they need to from those incidents earlier. Few cars, I'm sure, involved pitted already, so just will be pitting for those fuel and maybe take tires if they need to, but I don't think they would be needing any so far, having done 37 laps so far. Chris Cornett taking it number 1 at the end of that first stage. And there we go, as lap 39 we would be on getting that restart, which will be lap 40. Just having to wait for this pace car to come in any time soon. It's the two leaders, 20 and 88, I believe, in that top two. As of course, drivers pit in behind in this caution at the end of the stage break. So some of those gaining positions and some falling behind a little, but it'll be all done back. They will be all back at the top once again, but Chris Cornett not far away though, so isn't that 69 and 42 cars, but the others have just jumped their way up and be at the top of the field. 56 on the inside line as well. Some new drivers that were at the back of the field, just maybe trying to take their challenge, trying to take it all in that second stage and build their momentum and rhythm going into this from second to third stage. It'll be still interesting to see how this is all going to be going on. Weaving around a little 20 there, trying to maybe just generate some temperature that they need to in those tires, as it's going to be the pace car into the pits now, and that is going to be going on. It'll be green any time soon. The 20 try and defend everything he can from 87, 88, and all those right behind. For how long they'll be able to do so? Will the experience of Chris Cornett be able to challenge him, be able to be the one at the top and try and make a move in this tight, narrow, and exciting track route there? The top two have already fallen away. In fact, pulled away from the rest of the field out there. 80, 88, not far away though, but still a little bit of a gap building up between the top two and the rest of the field. We'll see how this is going to be going on. That's very close between 56 and 42 there. That was a tap, and that is very lucky for none of them to really go in the wall or have a big shunt than it was. Meanwhile, 42 will have to be falling back a little, but I think he's gotten away with that. So has 56. He went in there and just tapped the rear of the car ahead a little bit, and that shows up. Meanwhile, 88 has switched to the outside line, and that challenge for the lead is going to be on already. That's 820 and 88. Both of those drivers get into the top of the field that weren't there before. Meanwhile, 19 and 87 out there as well. They're going to be all at it so far. Both the top two and those outside and the inside lines leading it all. Lap 42 out of 114. Of course, we'll be going to lap 70 for that second stage, and I'm sure that all the excitement and that fight for positions is already looking to be started and looking to be beginning for these drivers. Of course, that is all long races, about 114 laps, but sure, they will be all going at it, and sometimes, and probably in a few laps time, thinking that it is going to be the time. Most of it is going to be in that final stage, but at least they're still going at there. They're still having that hang in there and pretty much trying to maintain their position. Meanwhile, 33 has gotten up there to the top as well. We haven't saw them much of this race. Some of those drivers just staying away at the back of this from front in those first few laps, and now as we are underway for that for that second stage, they are trying their luck. They're trying their hand what they can so far in this race. Meanwhile, 19 and 88 trying to scrape it out there, and very close between 20 and 87 there as well. They will be on it already to try and see what they can do. For a moment, 69 going wide a little as well. Of course, they all going smooth now. Still double file going on. No single file racing so far. So they're taking their chances. They're keeping their chance of positions up ahead, but not doing anything extraordinary, not doing anything extra that they wouldn't want to be doing, which could end up causing trouble for themselves. Meanwhile, 88 almost thinking for a moment, going 3 wide there, but that is going to be him having to come back again. Otherwise, that would have ended up being nasty as well. And I'm sure all of them are thinking the same at this point in time. Just somehow get us to that second, at the end of that second stage. Meanwhile, 88 having their movements almost going into the wall on the outside there. This is very close now. Definitely that positions and thinking drivers doing all what they can to sometimes go 3 wide as well. And 88 at the moment, I think, seems to be passionate and already ready to try and get into that top positions of this race. He's already in that second place on the outside line, but all he's trying to go to is do what he can in this race so far. Meanwhile, 75 there, the car being lapped to try and let the leaders get past him. He's going to be a lap down, but he'll be all at it to try and do what he has to do so far in this race. And I think still going smooth so far. No much extra tried from any of those drivers. They're all at it to calmly take. And there is, it says yellows. Has it gone caution? On that overlay, it says yellow 47, so maybe that's a bit of a bug or something for the overlay to show us. But at the moment, it is all single file. Some of those drivers jumping into the pits and the pit road, which is seeing a lot of the drivers inside that top few, and it is yellow indeed, I believe. We are seeing a yellow flag. As I saw one of those boards on the track, it is a yellow, and we are seeing some drivers jump into the pits, and the gap forming up between all of those. And there we go, that 69, but it should be going into the pit road as well. Chris Cornett still staying out, not risking it all. Or are we going to see him get in? So that's 69, not into the pits. He's coming back to that line, just staying to that inside. And we're going to see what has happened. The pace car is out. It's out on track, taking the control of the field already. And the first caution in that second stage. I wonder if something had happened or any incident that we are able to get hold of. But we'll see what this is all going to be going on. Just trying to look for the incident. Had it happened or what just had happened? Let's see what had happened. There is a fight between 46 and some of those cars around, but we'll see. Did it happen? And that was indeed the case. It was 71 and some other 75, I believe, still staying or being in the middle of the track. It was, of course, going to go worse than to bad, and this is where it all began then. There's just 21 squeezed between the two cars, and that caused it all of them going into the walls, and that is the first stage, and that was 0 then going into the back of 75. That's even more damage to the cars. Now this is going to be hell of a repairs for the teams to do. The cars have contained a lot of damage out there, and that trouble that everybody's trying to stay away from hasn't quite worked for some of those. Still getting those shunts and incidents that we are having, which has caused us to be behind the pace car here on lap 49 already, which of course, without an incident, it'll be lap 70 at the end of this the second stage. But even before that, everyone's going at it. So sometimes in the case of 21, they're just minding their own business, get squeezed between the two cars, and end up being in big trouble now. So far, 20 seems to be ahead of Chris Cornett for this moment, but is Chris going to be able to come back at him, try and get ahead at the moment so far? He's not switching to the inside line, though. It's 20 going at it, and 19 is going to try and go have a move on the outside as well. He's the only one in that double file so far, very close, so he's maybe not going to have that little bit of a booster with the support of anybody behind. And there it goes, the switch onto the inside is already Chris trying to go to the outside, but he's not quite doing so. Meanwhile, 20 has defended it there as Chris switches to the outside. That got very close already between the two. I mean, Chris, after a incident full race, I shall say, last night, would be looking to make progress, would be looking to stay out of all of that tonight, and that is going to be 3 wide, 88, 20, and 19. Who is it going to be able to get back out of this so far? Is it going to be any incidents that we're going to see? This is going to be very close between the three there, 3 wide, as on the inside now, just has to move out in very quick action. It would be 19 and 20, almost running each other out, getting to each other. And yellow once again already. We just went green few laps prior, and it's already incidents and yellow flags. Ooh, this is what happened, and it's the 3 once again. One more time, he's involved in one of those incidents. He just can't seem to catch a break or stay out of any of those trouble. We'll see what happened there. Was it the 99 going into 3 there on the outside? And that was going to be looking to be nasty. And that indeed was nasty. The green 99 there just on the outside of 3. Trying to hang in there on the outside line with 3. Maybe not checking their mirrors. We see them go into the wall. And that's going to cause another yellow flag. But 54 out of 112. Now it's going to be about even less than 15 laps before the end of that second stage. Already the second caution now in this second stage. We had a few in that first one and in the third one as well, the second one as well. And now the third stage and the final of this race is going to be crazy, which is going to be from pretty much as if it restarts lap 74 or 75 to that final stages. And those final laps to the end of the race, all would be fighting for victory. But even if they're not going for moves or just staying to their line, committed to their line, they end up hitting all the other drivers, or even sometimes being in the wall. In the case of 3, he was pretty much just staying there and maybe not checking his mirrors, end up causing problems. And it could be green any time now. Many cautions, incidents, and all it begins now. Just those final 15 laps to the end of this second stage. The stage which is going to end at 70. What is it now going into the minds of those old drivers? Looking at those so far, 20, 87, 19, 12, or even 87. Maybe 56 and 33 behind. Anyone could be taking that for a second stage win. It was Chris Cornett, of course, the man. Car 87 taking that first stage win. And that is going to be already a spin, and that's going to be incidents already as it just goes green. It goes yellow once again. It's 4 and 3 one more time. Can't believe it. He's in there for the 3rd time, and to cause another caution, he's hit it and found himself in the trap of Venus, and that was pretty much not his fault if that's 3 we're spinning. That's 4 in spinning, in fact. Just getting tapped from 42 out there right behind, unless they braked or brake checked them. I don't see any incident or to just see what really happened between the two. Ooh, that was just him going into the back, and then 83 they're having spins as well. That is now the drivers just can't catch a break there. They're back at it, but we'll see what happened there though. Was 83 jumped up by anyone? We'll see what happened. They're going at it. They're going at it so far. So one of them braked. And 83. So without even being involved in anything, just trying to defend and trying to stay away from all the other drivers. He just lost it on his own pretty much, trying to not make contact in the end. And now 4 and 83 at the back of the field. No brake speed. Yeah.
Where you don't have time to react, and next thing you know, you're just wrapped up in it, man.
Yeah, all of this just disappearing, and these just small little errors which drivers need to sort out. I mean, just brake checking each other is just never the way to go out on the track, and we're seeing what is going on now. Already on probably third caution of this second stage, and still got about 12 laps to go.
Yeah, they just can't get into a rhythm and get going there, Zab. It's just not working out for them very well.
Not at all. I mean, they just try and one has a shunt, the others just say, okay, let's go at it once again, restart, and with a better one this time. But it just doesn't seem to be working out so far in this race for anyone.
Not at all. It's not working, period. But we'll see if it picks back up later in the race and cleans back up.
I'm sure they all pretty much now would be thinking not only about at the end of this stage, but the final one. That's how are they're going to be going on to that. But I think before that, they would be thinking that when this goes green, we have to even just get to the end of this second one now, and the remaining laps that there are. They all would be a lot of things going on into the minds of these drivers now. Maybe those involved or tapped from those behind to try and stay away from those and do their own race. But we'll see. The leaders have been clean, though. They have been no incidents or anything between the leaders. The back of the field just...
Not so... The back of the field, not so lucky.
Yeah, that luck could be some of those factors as well, but it depends on what kind of drivers are around you. You know, are they safe? Are they looking to go long, or they're just looking to fight for that position and get to the leaders already in the remaining laps?
Well, I guess we're going to get ready to go back green, man, and we get to see this all over again, and they get another shot at getting it going clean here tonight.
One more time, we're going to be going green, all of them trying to do what they would be wanting to do so far, just complete the second stage without being involved in any of those incidents. Meanwhile, 20 there almost ran into the wall, trying to weave out a little on that outside line. Still going to be as the pace car would be in, and as soon as it goes green, the racing will start, and the fight for position will begin once again.
Yes.
While stiffen car number 20. That is going to be at it all, as the pace car still staying out there. Should be moving to the left anytime soon. And that restart.
And take a look at Stefan, man. He started 25th tonight, and he's up to second. He's
done it all.
Yeah. He's done it all, just he's got to bring it home.
Yes, he sure has to, and I think that's what he's thinking at the moment. Starting 25th, there wouldn't have been much hope for sure. These oval races, very close field. You always have a chance at it, but pretty much just try and stay away from any of the cautions, any of the incidents, and you make your way through.
Yep. Look at Tom there, Dustin there as well. All these guys up started deep in the field, but we're going green again, man.
And it goes green one more time in this race so far. Chris Cornett leads it up from the front and from the inside line, the outside. Stephen there, still staying, and the car number 19 it is of Don't Let Ray on the inside line. Both of them are having a go at it, try and go what they can. Dustin Hardy in between has found his way on the inside. He's going to go through it and try and make it hard for 20 to hang in there on the inside line. It'll be interesting to see. The back of the field have stayed clean so far. Meanwhile, this final 10 to the end of the stage. It'll be interesting to see the fight between Dustin Hardy and Stephen there starting already. Meanwhile, Dustin on the inside line seems to be getting a little bit of a push from those behind and getting up ahead and very fighting that close. The top two are clear, and now Dustin is going at it all on that inside as well. It'll be interesting to see what is it going to be all going on. Meanwhile, 56 and 12 right behind are on their own race as well. Everybody now just going wheel to wheel, going all together. Meanwhile, one of the cars right behind we see to make the move from outside to the inside, and it's very close once again. 87 and 19, Chris Cornett and Don't Let Ray there having a go at all. It's almost 4 wide for a moment. We saw that was very close. It could have been worse than how it was in one way or the other. They were all 4 wide for a moment. This is very few parts of the track. You can go maybe 3 to 4 wide clear comfortably, but then comes that narrow corners that make you go 2 wide very quickly, and if you're not ready for that switch up, you could be having a big shunt. But so far it's been all clear, and Chris Cornett has been the one leading. Meanwhile, 42 has a big chance of moving to the inside line, a big gap between there, the outside and the inside there chance, but 56 not going to hang out there, as well as 12 around the outside, just getting closer. And now the only 2 drivers that are close to each other, 19 and 33 on the inside line. Meanwhile, 56 is not far away as well. They're all at it now, lap 63 out. Oh, but 114 still stays green, still going green. Definitely the drivers just trying to find that rhythm that they can. Now 20 now, very, very close to Chris Cornett. Try and go for that move. The move is going to be on now. Chris, of course, having won the first stage. The challenge is on for him to try and defend this second stage here at the moment. We'll see what is it all going to be going on. Meanwhile, 20 now has taken the lead of the race and gotten ahead of everyone. So is 19 right behind them as well. Chris has to back out of the lonely outside line. Maybe he's going to get back and push himself and everyone around a little bit when it's the final 2 to 3 laps to the end of this stage. But we'll see what everyone's going to be doing. Meanwhile, 19 moves to the outside and have that defense and that challenge to Chris Cornett. So the second stage win could be a little doubtful here for Chris, and for maybe Dustin Hardy now could be having his hand as well. But we'll see what's going to be going on. It's very close once again, all of them. At least the grid is sorted so far. It's going to be either Don't Let Ray or Stephen, 20 or 19. As it stands, it's very close. Almost for a moment, Chris Cornett could have thought to make it 3 wide, but not quite so far. Ooh, that is drivers going left or right, going maybe try and make their own lane for an overtake, but that hasn't been able to be there. That hasn't been the case so far. Meanwhile, Don't Let Ray still taking that second place. Stephen in the first one. Don't Let and Stephen are going to be going at it all. It is probably looking like to be a photo finish, unless just like Chris did, could Don't Let do move to the inside line just now and try and be the one, or try and defend from both those cars to himself and get ahead. Meanwhile, we're going to see the onboard and the cockpit camera of one of these cars to have a go. Look how close that is. That is very close between 33 and the car we are on board on. Once again, it'll be interesting to see what they're all going to be going on. They're just thinking those movements, and look how close it is. We don't realize it usually, but from those cockpits, and now everybody in that single lane. Meanwhile, 12 and 87 move to the inside. That exact same moment, that could have been problematic. There was just very close, inches away from problems, and that Chris Cornett has done it again. He's back to the lead of the race, and he's outplayed everyone so far. 12 and 20 just falling behind him. They're still staying. They're still having their chance, though, not ruling them out. They're all giving everything they can. Meanwhile, I believe that was 56.
Oh, Cornett got moved
behind
the field.
Meanwhile, that's 3 wide. Cornett going very, very wide. That is interesting to see, but that was again Chris Cornett. We saw him take the lead, stay away from the lead, get back on it, and once again it's very, very close. He's really not leaving any margin on it, and he wants that second stage win as well, but he has to be cautious, because one wrong move here could be a race over for him, and that's definitely what he doesn't want. Meanwhile, 12 and 20 are at it. Anyone can take it. Maybe it could be 33 and 87 as well. Everybody's going to be keeping a chance. Everybody's going to be having their chance. Meanwhile, a little bit of unsteady gets 20 there, and Chris Cornett on the outside again for a chance for it to go 3 wide, but doesn't quite happen so far, and he's still staying there, just switching lanes from outside to the inside line, trying to find the best move possible, try and find a way through on these drivers, and on lap 70 in the final one to the end of the stage. Is it going to be 12? Is it going to be 20? Or even 33 for that stage win? Dustin Hardy's on the outside line. If he gets a little bit of a push from the drivers behind, he could be getting ahead of everyone around, but 12 so far seems to be sorted and seems to be on it for the stage 1 win. But is it going to be Chris Cornett around the outside, and that goes green, and that is going to be the number 12 taking it home and in first place at the end of the second stage.
There we go. That is a wrap for stage 2. That's a good race.
So far, fantastic. 71 now, just the final stage to go.
They're getting caught up to the pace car here. Where is the pace car? In outer space? And here we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
There's a car out on the track on its own. It's 3 once again.
What the? Okay.
Has he hit the wall? Has he hit the wall on his own again?
I think that's what we're seeing, sir.
Yep.
I got no words. Up, whoa, 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 whoa,
that was okay. That is a thing to comment on. There was 2 other cars in the middle of the track on their own, and that explains it.
Don't text and drive, kids.
Sure, that makes sense now. Meanwhile, then he almost end up having others come into him.
All right. Well, there we go, man. Another stage in the books.
Another one done. This is the final one to go now for all these drivers.
All right. What do you say, man? You take a break. We'll be right back for the start of stage number 3, everybody.
We're off. And we are back at it one more time, and this third and final stage to go. Meanwhile, we have some new cars at the top of the field here for time, of course. Chris Cornett and some others right behind, still staying within those 5 or 6 cars, of course, in this field. Some of them new, some of them finding up there as the base car goes in. It is going to be going green anytime soon now. It's going to be 83, 87, and 12 on that outside line. 20 not far away from those guys as well. And it's going to be, I don't see the number on the lead car there, though, but that's going to be... and that's green, and that is going to be 87. Chris Cornett already switching from inside to the outside there, doing what he trying to get into the lead and trying to challenge those drivers already. Meanwhile, 69 on that inside in between as well, and that's car number 7 leading it all and all their way at the so far the green car at the end of it. So it has went green so far. We don't see that on that overlay, but sure, that'll update on its own. Meanwhile, number 7 now trying to defend, trying to do all they are here to do, and trying to do something different from all the others to get themselves to the top. They were not in those leaders at the start of the race. That could be very close there for a moment as we lose out the cars. They're back at it all once again. 87 and 7 are on their own. Meanwhile, 83 on the outside there as well. Chris Cornett now taking it all, really not ruling out any chance of victory there. Giving it all. That's very close one more time between the two drivers there and all those behind as well. And the final, last and final stage, this is where it all matters and everybody's on it and really now giving it all and not falling behind as well there. Everybody is on it and now try and get what they're going to be doing. Chris Cornett, of course, took victory at Daytona and the Truck Series as well, and he's looking to make it 2 in a row so far in the season. But we'll see if anybody else around him could be challenging him. He won the first stage. The second one, it was the 12th car to be coming up at the top, and now it's Cornett once again along with the leaders, and it's going to be 7 and 87 on their own, but 69, 83, 12, 15, all of those guys not far away as well. It could be anyone's final stage, and that is when it all matters, really. You could be fighting for a few extra points at the end of those first few stages, but definitely the race victory is all what matters, and everybody's going to be on it and have their chance, have their go at that race win now. At the moment, 7 finding it difficult. They're trying to defend from both, not only 87 and 69 out there as well. Meanwhile, the inside liners going at them all. The outside is kind of equal so far. Nobody trying something extra. Nobody's trying anything new that we are seeing so far. Still no incidents for the few starting laps, which is a very, very good sign for this race, which of course everybody wants to be keeping it clean, keeping themselves and and others out on track as well, and try and not see what we've seen at least in those first stage, but still not ruling out anything though, because those final few laps from pretty much lap 100 to 114 is going to be a thing to look at, and anything happening between those laps, it'll be interesting to see. Meanwhile, 87 now around the outside, finding a little bit of a rhythm out there, and he's going to be a few car lengths ahead of him. Is it going to be 87 coming back again? He's going to be doing it, so they're still staying closer. No chance for 87, Chris Cornett, to move to the inside line to take the lead of the field. But still, of course, many cars on the inside and on the outside. So going double file, it's not much that you want to be needing to do so to move to the inside line. So keeping it to yourself on the outside and taking it all so far. And still, again, very, very close between 7 and 87.
Car, it almost doesn't want to turn, and Zab, that's so hard to explain how tight that race car can get on the bottom like that.
Yeah, it is very, very tight, trying not away. You know, all those right behind.
Whoa, traffic, watch out.
Ooh, that was very close. That could have been another disaster in the race.
That all but should have been another disaster, but somehow, some way, those guys held on, man. kept it straight. That whole pack made it through. Chris Mayo leading the top line in the 7. The back end of that truck moving around so much as he's got Cornette tacked up right underneath of him.
Really now just trying to do any defending that you can, and he's failing that pressure, sure. Trying to just defend from Chris Cornette at some point, maybe. The 69 right behind is on him as well, but they just that pressure, of course, of Chris Cornette, the man having won last time around. Could be a chance for he's got a big chance of victory this time around as well, but Chris is not going to be ruling himself out as well. He's going to be doing everything he can to for that victory, and that has been some contact between the cars, but lucky enough once again. None of them going really wide.
Yeah, man, you can't get lucky that many times, right? You start making contact like that, somebody's going to get in trouble somewhere.
Yeah, just get those final laps, those final moment, adrenaline, and pretty much passion, enthusiasm, everything. Get into these drivers that they're keeping it still out on track and just fight for those positions in those final moments. And now they know, again, 83 and 87 going very wide and close to the wall.
How many times can they get away with this, though? I mean, I got to think at some point you're going to get yourself in trouble doing that.
It happens. I mean, one more time, maybe a few times you're getting away with that, but there is going to come a time that if maybe you or somebody around you gets it wrong and it takes the whole field. And look how close they are at the moment. If you are considering some of them hitting the wall and hitting one of the other cars, there's going to be many of them going wide or going off the track. This could be a big shunt if there is even one at this point in time. They're all intact up together.
Yeah, man, they're still all intact, but right now, start looking for the momentum coming from the rear here. Around 9th, 10th spot, you got to start making your moves now as we close on the end of this race. They don't have a lot of time, and with them double file in front of them like this, man, not a much places they can put that truck here in Atlanta, as narrow as this racetrack is, to get that truck to follow through.
Yes, it definitely is. Now they have to be, try and stay away from everybody, but then also try and make their positions as well. At this moment, they cannot do much, of course, if everybody, especially the likes of, sure, Chris is far away from the trouble, but if you're staying any drivers right behind them, very close once again, one of the lap cars there. And as we were saying, that any of those drivers behind trying to just make a move and move up forward in the field, they're just not going to be the case for them so far, because they've just got no choice but stay there where they are.
Yeah, that's the problem. And look at Mayo in the Minecraft machine trying to play both lines, but you can only do that so much. As you see Cornette really get to pull up top, Mayo going to jump back ahead, but it is so hard, Zab, to try to block both lanes.
It surely is, trying to just not only block, try and maybe to defend your position, but then, of course, you don't have to run them off. You don't have to cause a big shunt, which is, of course, going to be in his mind after what has been happening so far in the race. And it could be now anytime Chris Cornette around the outside, just going to be going a few car lengths ahead of him. Could be Chris moving to the inside line very, very soon. And that's going to be 83 tapped up. And that's the incident that we were waiting for. And many, many cars that we just talked about. That one incident is going to cause a lot of trouble. And that has happened already on lap 90 out of 114. Big trouble now. Problems for everybody in the race. It was 83 having a bit of incidents, and then there was 2 going into the cars, and everybody just being just a dodgems here instead of racing cars. One goes into the other, and everybody following it out. Slowed replay of the incident. What happened there? It was 12 and 69, very, very close. So it was 83, which was not in our sights at the moment, but I think they should be anywhere on the outside. Yep, that is them spinning. Then it was 42 maybe, very close to them. But what happened exactly, we will know in a moment's time. So it was car number 2 there going into the car ahead of them, which pretty much caused all of that. So everybody looking at this moment, trying to stay away from that 83 car and not have themselves go into them. He has his own incident, but then this little incident, which of course car number 2 went into him, and then he pushed it, went into 4, and this all caused a big problem for all of these drivers.
Man, massive incident here. 4 up the hill. He's going to get T-boned here. That's not going to help. And the problem is, Zab, when this happens, the whole track's blocked.
Yeah, you got nowhere to go pretty much. You just have to go in there, and it's almost like if you're following someone, they fall in a maybe in a trap, and then you pretty much are part of that trap and end up being in one of that.
I tell you what, if we go back and look one more time and slow this down, if everybody had gotten slowed up, the 83, I believe, had it saved for the most part here. He gets in the wall, truck straightens back out, but the problem of it was everybody else behind, like you said, Zab, where the two got in the back of the other truck. If that hadn't happened, I think we'd have been okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, everybody was going to try and stay away. He had his moment, but he kind of got back. You know, he wasn't even involved with anybody else. He had his own moment, corrected it, back out on track. But, of course, everybody around had to take action quickly. And, of course, sometimes that action you take, sometimes those reflexes work. Sometimes they work for yourself. Sometimes they work against you, you know, and exactly in this moment it happened. No, but everybody trying to stay away as quickly as they can, but then it just happened. They just got all involved, and disaster, really.
Yeah, and if you look on the bottom, Adam Gardner here in the 56 truck, we're going to go back and we're going to go on board with Adam because he does a tremendous job here, if it'll let us hop on board with him, of not getting involved in this incident, man. Watch this in front of Adam, everybody. There's a wreck happening, and Zab, he gets woed up, and somehow...
He does. So does Six as well.
Yeah,
ahead of
Six.
Him. Chris flips.
Yeah, right here.
It's almost like.
Let's
watch it again. It's almost like those clips that we sometimes watch on maybe Facebook. Racing clips that everybody's getting away from those incidents. That was very close for him as well.
Look at the two coming down.
Away. Again, the two coming down again after tapping one of the cars. Maybe came for him as well, but he just found his way and stayed away from him.
It's like he was just sitting in the truck. No, can't touch this. No. Well, lights are off, man. We're ready to do this all over again.
And it will be going green now for the final few laps of this race. Already having few shunts, and the biggest of this race so far has happened in this final and third stage of the race. Drivers going into those pit roads, getting their cars, get it ready up back again. And the pace car is going to be in. It's going to be 42 leading ahead of everyone, 88, 20, and 33, 87. Everyone right behind, keeping their positions as it goes green. They will be at it. Meanwhile, that 80 to 88 car and 42 have got themselves in the middle of at the lead of the pack so far. So it could be anyone's victory now. Anyone inside those top 5-6 cars on both the lines could be having their chance of victory here tonight. But everybody now looking to be very close.
No!
Once again, 42, and that's going to be an incident already. That's 88 and 20 taking each other out. And that's one more time we're going to have the yellow flags.
Well, that didn't last long, did it, Zab?
Not really. Just went yellow and, green and back yellow again. It was just tap of the button for a few seconds. It went in, and that's smoke coming out of one of the cars. And that is a big, another moment in this race.
Take a look here.
We'll see what happened there, and that is exactly what we've seen there. 20 was there, 88 maybe thought there was a time for him and chance for him to move from outside to the inside, and that is just nothing that 20 could have done there. I think it's all on 88, that's all I'm saying so far.
Yeah, me too. I think he forgot to turn his blinkers on there and decided to make a lane change, and it didn't work out.
Yep. And without the mirrors as well, just taking the other out.
It's just like, we'll have to wait to see if Georgia State Patrol comes on the racetrack and gives him a lane change violation ticket. You know, that could happen.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, I'm trying to break Zab, but it's not working. There we go. I got a little bit out of Zab. I broke him a little bit. All right. When we go off air tonight, Zab's going to kill me. All right, 18 to go, man. You got Winker out front. Who's your pick to get this one done?
I mean, it's interesting at the moment. Chris, there are others, but Chris has been the consistent one. You know, sometimes we see some of those at the top and fall behind, but Chris has been there. So has Donlet Ray as well. But we'll see who's going to be out, going to be there. Still 19 to go. I mean, we can still expect things happening, things taking a big change in this race. So it'll be very, very interesting, and I think hard to call out anyone till the end of it, really, unless we are in those final 2 to 3 laps to have a exact idea as who's going to be winning it. Because looking at that Justin Hardy 33 is not far away as well. The whole field is pretty much bunched up. So one more moment like this, and it could be all changed up again.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting here at the end of this race here tonight in Atlanta, Georgia. Who's going to pull this off? You know, my vote's going to be on Winker, I think. He always finds a way to get himself up here at the end of these plate races. And here we are again at the end of another plate race. And that for 42 up front again. So, Zab, 17 to go. Lights are off on the pace car again, man.
More time waiting to go green and hoping to not be back to yellow once again, as we definitely want to be getting to the end of the race and have our winner very, very soon in this race so far. Chris Cornett, very, very impatient there, trying to go for that move already before the pace car is even in. Yeah. We'll see what is it going to be like at the restart.
Cornett, they're trying to clean them tires off a little bit, Zap. That might help.
Yeah, just trying to do what he can for help himself the best for that restart and be ready. Anything that comes at him, it's just like try and get ahead of 42 there and maybe take the charge of the field. But we'll see what is it going to be the case now.
Well, we're about to find out. Lights on the All-I Racing Chevrolet pace truck are out. Bob, the pace truck driver, going to bring that Chevy to pit road. We're going to turn it over to Zabbity Dab Dub, and he's going to bring you to green.
And the pace car is in. The time to go green one more time. It'll be very, very interesting to see how the restart goes this time around. It only lasted for 2 laps on the previous one. But how long is this one going to be going? Are we going to be able to do all these 18 laps to the end without a caution one more time? It'll be only questionable if that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, Chris Cornett has got the better one on the outside line, 87. But the inside 42 is going to be going at it as well, giving it all. Meanwhile, the back of the field are at it as well. They're trying their best. Meanwhile, the leaders are at it one more time. A little bit of movements at the back of the field we saw, but Donlet Ray and 42 are on it there for time being, and on the inside, being the leaders, being the dominant ones so far. The outsiders falling up behind a little bit. Are we going to see Chris Cornett hanging there on the inside line? Meanwhile, 42 has switched up to the outside, and it's going to be very close one more time between 6-9 and car number 7 of Chris Mayo there for number 12. Your stage 2 winner has hanged it and came back to the top one more time. This with just 16 laps to go. It'll be interesting to see who's really going to be the one to be taking it back home and taking it to victory, and that's very close. Some of those guys once again getting very close to the walls on the outside, and some of the cars, and that's 88 going very slow. And one more time, it's yellow again. It was only 3 laps that we could go more, and that's Adam Gardner going very slow. Let's see what happened, and one more time. And we saw Adam earlier staying away from any incident. This time he's been able to be the part of one of them. It was number 2 one more time, and I think just like 3 we saw in the first few stages of the race, it's just 2. 2 is now the new 3 now in terms of incidents in this race so far.
Yeah, man, they came up on that lap traffic, if you'll look, and it started to narrow up a little bit, and I think that they saw that lap truck on the bottom and just kind of overreacted too early, which kind of, see, the lap truck slow down there, but they wouldn't even to him yet, Zab.
Yeah, they were at it all. I mean, 2 maybe just trying to move it in that panic situation, just looking ahead and thinking that I don't go into the car ahead, but just didn't saw that there was one on the outside, and then pretty much taking themselves and the other one out as well. Now a lot of them is repairs.
Yep, they'll be down there to get it fixed, and we're down to 14 to go. Man, I'm staying with Kevin Winker, buddy. I'm staying with him. He's kept the race lead, and these restarts and yellows is going to help him out tremendously here.
Definitely, with now it's all looking like single file so far. Nobody risking it for that double, so at least for time being. We'll see how the restart is going to be going. So, and Winker is at it all. I think he's held it nice, and the third stage has looked his own so far.
Take a look at Mayo, Donald, Tom, Dustin Hardy back here in 7th, Phillips in 8th, Austin Hunt up tonight, man. And Christopher Baker rounding out that top 10. I think any truck within that top 10 has an opportunity to get it done here tonight.
Definitely, you cannot rule anybody out. Everybody is there trying to get the maximum they can, and I think that victory won't be far away if you're seeing some drivers going a little bit wide. Just that one opportunity. It's just like trying to get the most of somebody else's mistake. You know, they just allow you for a little bit of a time, a little bit of a gap to go through, and you just through on it, and you could be victorious. And it's just how close the fields are here in oval racing. I won't be surprised if anybody around inside the top 10, as you said, could be that wins it and are victorious. Interesting to see. 14 to go still, and
now 13.
13 becomes it is, and
so what's it going to be, Zab? 12 laps to go for the restart here, so you can have a 12-lap dash. This is going to be crazy.
It really will be, and I think we'll see how it happens, and maybe sometimes we see in races, in iRacing especially, when it's just 3 laps to go, it goes green, it has another incident, and then the pace car is out one more time, so and then it gets the lap back to 3 and it pauses it up. So that would be a big chance of that happening. Sometimes we go like 9 times around it if that one keeps happening again and again, but we'll see what they're all able to do in the remaining laps.
Well, we are
green, white, checkered, I believe that's called.
Yes, sir, and we're about to find out, right? It is just about go time here in Atlanta.
Only moments away from that restart here in the Truck Series BMRL network here at Atlanta Super Speedway.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Get your bananas ready. Let's go, Zab.
The pace car is in. It's going to be going green one more time. Just lost count on how many times we went caution and back to green in this race so far, but it's going to be the 42 of Winker, still ahead of everyone and leading that. Meanwhile, Jeff Peppers is not far away as well on the inside line. Don Landry on the outside, keeping it very close against the leader, and Chris Mayo on the inside and outside with number 12. Very, very close, and that's going to be Jeff Peppers and Don Landry involved.
It's the whole field.
And that is almost half of the field is involved in this incident.
Oh, and more. They're still wrecking.
Massive.
Oh my gosh.
What just happened there?
We just slipped on a banana peel. Oh my good googly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What 10 cars? 11, 12, Zab, maybe? Possibly.
How many of them? It was just one followed by the other.
Oh. They look like Pac-Man going for the little dots on the screen, man. Just right into one another. Look at the 6 up and over, Zab.
Absolutely. It almost hang in there between the barriers there and the wall. Just coming back out, and everybody involved. And Chris Cornett, who was having such a great race so far, looking to be making it 2-2 in the Truck Series, is involved one more time.
Oh, my goodness, Dabby. Oh, boy. Can we catch a break tonight with these yellows, bud? We can't seem to break our, man. Take a look there, Zab. The 69 was so close to being clear. So close. He's on the apron there, barely gets clipped by Mayo.
He just try and stay away. Pretty much just trying running away from anything that was going to happen. I think he kind of maybe sensed it as well of how the cars were going away. Trying to stay away, but I think as they say, when it's your time, it ends up hitting you. No matter how much you're trying to stay away and you're trying not to be involved in, but it gets you.
I guess, as they say, win in Rome, I guess. Because the whole field, pretty much. And you got to feel from Chris Mayo in this, too. He had a good run going. Now destroyed.
Yep, very good one. I mean, he was at that race before that. You know, at the beginning of that third stage, he was there. He was there in the top guys, and now one more time he was going to be going at it and really have a go. And now with this damaged car, I doubt he's going to be challenging anyone out there. And unless the drivers ahead have big damage as well, but it is doubtful now. Not as strong as he would have been earlier.
There's only probably, what, does they have 5 or 6 trucks that don't have damage here? If that, maybe 7 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of now, as they say, like, how in some of those races, we say, like, how you have damage in a clean race, but now it's like, in this incident-full race, how are you damageless, you know? Like it would just kind of, maybe they would be questioning themselves, like they're lucky or something for staying out of all of this chaos that has happened, and which have had themselves stay away from any damage, any incidents, problems, with 9 to go still.
Coming
They're
to
at
8.
it all.
Oh, man. This is going to be wild. Now, one thing, Zab, I want to look at. Mayo's starting third here on the restart on the inside lane. We know he has a damaged truck. How will that hold everybody up behind him? You get what I'm saying? Like, if that truck's damaged, would it not hold everybody else up when they get going?
It depends how much he's able to defend from everybody around, but I think it would have been interesting if it was single file, or maybe nobody around the outside was challenging. There was a chance that he was going to be able to defend and maybe not let anyone even form another lane. But when it's already high and low lanes, I think it'll be doubtful if he's able to defend. We'll still see how he goes under that green, but with that damage, I think the aerodynamics is just not going to be helping him at all. Even if he's got nobody ahead of him, he might just find it hard to defend.
Yeah, I think regardless, that truck's in trouble. But Zab, we're getting ready to go green, bud.
Let's make it happen. It's 9 to go, which is going to be 8 to go when we go green. Meanwhile, the pace truck should be coming in to the pits one more time, and this time around, hopefully we're going to go green to the end of the race, but we'll see. Oh, this is all going to be running around. Meanwhile, Wenker and number 12 there, 42 and 12 on the inside and outside. Chris Mayo very, very close on the inside line, trying to go at it. He's going to try and take the chance of taking that lead any time he can do so with it being involved in those big incidents. Meanwhile, the outside liners are at it already. Meanwhile, Wenker now trying to defend from both those drivers already, but Chris Mayo has went for it on the inside line, and his chance of victory is definitely not going to be off. Sure, he's got that damaged car, but he's going to give it all. 83 is right behind him as well. Meanwhile, the chance of Wenker still stays to himself.
I cannot believe Mayo's leading this inside line right now. Oh. Not going to be enough, Zap. It ain't going to work, I don't think.
For how long though? I mean, maybe just 2 to 3 laps were remaining. He could have tried maybe like everything elbows out to defend, but I don't think with these 7 to go, it's going to be easy for him, and that's going to be another yellow flag. That is one more incident. Interesting to see what happened. And another one more time. It's Chris Cornett. He had a horrible race last night. He kept it very close and very safe for so far in pretty much all of this race. But in these remaining laps, he ends up being the victim of one of those cars, and he will not be happy at all. He's just tapped from the cars behind 15 there.
Well, that happened. So that will leave us, what, 5 to go here, Zab?
5 to go, and we'll see how many laps there are going to be behind the pace car. When does it pause it, though? Does it pause it right now, or does it pause it with only 4 to 3 laps remaining to the end?
Well, I think we'll go to green with about 3 to go at most. So pretty much a green, white, checkered when we do go green here tonight. And it's going to be very interesting. Winker leading. You got Tom there. Mayo was over inside the top 5 during that run, Zab. Can he work that car back forward?
It'll be interesting if he's really able to do that. Like, maybe somebody or everyone around him has that moment or maybe incident that he stays away from. That could be his chance, or just somehow he's able to keep those guys ahead. But we see, how many positions he's lost already on that few lap restart with that damaged car, and it's unlikely. I mean, he could. You could argue that there's a few % chance of him doing that, but it's hard considering with 42 of Winker there, and he, without any damage, I think he's got the most chance of winning and already leading. It looks comfortable for him so far.
Yeah, it looks good for Wink up front right now. I've seen Winker in this situation so many times, and so many times he's came through. So Wink just got to do it yet again. And as Zab works with me, he'll learn all my nicknames for these guys. But this is where Winker really, Zab, he comes into his own. A late race up front, keeping that truck up there.
Or that's an interesting thing to know, and I'm sure that has been the case so far as well. We saw earlier Chris leading, maybe losing out as well, but Winker, as soon as he's got in that first place, he hasn't looked back at all, with, of course, his biggest competitor, Chris Cornett, not in his sights anymore. Is far back of the field and being involved in all those incidents. He's looking comfortable so far, unless that 12 could do something about it to challenge him, but it's looking quite easy for him so far.
All right, it'll be 3 laps to go, man. When we go green, 3 laps to get it done and figure this out, buddy.
Three laps to the end, it's going to be going green, but in so many situations we've seen that it goes yellow in those remaining two laps as well, and then we end up being in the green, white, checkered situation. We're going to see if there is something like this happens here tonight. Won't be surprised if it does so. There has been many incidents all around, but it's going to be a big challenge for these drivers to get to the end and just finish it out there. And pretty much, apart from those top 2, everybody else pretty much has to just not fight for that victory, and maybe just try and stay where they are and do their best for themselves, for their teams, to get the most points they can. Because of course, if you are having a big shunt trying to go for that victory, you're not getting any points. As they say, to finish first you have to finish.
That's going to be the challenge here over the next 3 miles that we got tonight. Here we go, Zab. Pace truck down, buddy.
Ace car is in, and as it stands, it's going to be for last and final time. We're going to be going green if there is no incidents and no more. It's going to be 3 laps to the end of the race as we are over that start-finish line, and it's going to be Winker 42 leading the race here at Atlanta Super Speedway so far, and we'll see what is it going to be the case for anybody around in their car number 12 on the outside, and the big challenge for that race win. Who is it going to be at the top? Is it going to be the 42, 12, or anybody behind could be having their chance as well? Meanwhile, 83 causing one of those big incidents earlier, and themselves are in that top 2 and on the inside line. It'll be interesting to see who comes in. Oh, that's very close, and that's going to be an incident. That is going to be a big incident one more time, and 12 and 83 going to be going wide.
They hung on.
And that is going to be from second to last almost for 12 there, and now his chance of victory and dreams of a win are shattered already. And I think the 42, they get their position comfortable even more now of that victory with just 2 to go.
Coming to the white flag, Zab. Here we go. Look at the movement behind him. That's Crosby behind him, Zab. White flag in the air.
White flag that's going to be, and that's going to will be for that final lap remaining. But we'll see what is it going to be the case. Still 42 keeping it all ahead, and I think we could see all those drivers behind movements all around left and right, what they can do. Maybe switch to the outside, and it'll be very, very close now. Will be pretty much a photo finish through the line, unless one or the other could get a better start and a better exit of one of these corners and get ahead, full car ahead of them to the finish line. It's going to be 46 now ahead of that, and that's almost 3 wide, 56.
And Winker got it.
Adam Gardner around the outside, but 42 that is, and that's going to be checkered flag. And Winker has got the victory here at Atlanta Super Speedway in the Trucks Series here tonight, and that's victory for him.
What did I say, man? I told you he's very good when he's out front, and it proves true once again. Kevin Winker does what Kevin Winker does and keeps everybody at bay, man.
Fantastic. I mean, he's done it and he showed it pretty much. That confidence that you were having in him and calling out that we will be one of those, and he has done it.
All right, there we go, fans. We will get interviews here in a moment. We will get everybody gathered up. But man, what a night it was, Zab.
Fantastic. It was a great night. I mean, these races just keep getting crazier and better every time around once we see the leaders having donuts of victory tonight, really enjoying it all they can. And I think that's why it's over racing is like fantastic, you know, to that final lap, to that final corner. You have no idea who's coming out to the top, who's coming out to be victorious at it, you know.
Right.
Anything could go wrong, and in the end, it'll be very bad, but...
Man, that was crazy. We're waiting on Winker to get into Discord here. But, man, I called it because I've seen him do it so many times. And, again, he played it perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and bring Christopher Baker out a second down for you while we wait on Winker. Sound good? All right. Let's get the broadcast booth going here. Alrighty, there you go, man. There's Mr. Baker. Or Barker, excuse me. Where did he go? Well, nope, it didn't drag him. Let me try it again.
I don't see him.
I don't see him either. Discord is going to find us. So give me just a second, folks. We'll get him down here. And we'll get everybody gathered up. I think Chris is actually gathering them up now for us. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. See, teamwork makes the dream work, don't it, Zab?
Yeah, they really called it. I mean, did what they can as a team, get many points, and in the end got what they were looking for, and a great job done for all of them.
All right, let's try this one more time. Let's get the 46 down here. If we can, it's not gonna let me grab it. Oh, there he just got moved by somebody, not us. Oh, Chris grabbed him. Why is it not letting me? Are you able to grab him by chance there, Zebedee?
Let me check, though.
You know, Discord does not like us tonight, does it?
Looking at Barker, right?
Yep.
I don't see him at all.
I don't see him at all.
Now.
I see him now. Let me try one more time. Nope. Well,
I see, but I don't even see the broadcast channel to move him to.
Yep, that's the problem I'm having. So, folks, with that being said, Zab, we're going to have to pivot because Discord is not working. So, overall, what did you think of the race here, Zab?
It was a great one. I mean, it was just a treat to watch, to be honest. Enjoy it, and I'm sure. I hope that we did a good enough job for everybody watching, enjoyed it, because sure we did here from here, just to see how crazy it was. Can't wait to see how it went for everybody watching out there, and to just see and live in that moment of what's happening, and those drivers would be keen to have a look back at the race, and I'm sure they'd be looking to see what they did tonight. Maybe they try and do something better and not have problems that they did tonight, but fantastic. I mean, it was a bit of craziness, entertainment, and pretty of a good of a race as well. We pretty much saw a few overtakes, but moreover, like more than overtakes, we had like incidents. Sometimes we have in the races.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, man. Well, unfortunately, I don't know that we're going to be able to get interviews done, Zab, because we can't get anybody down here. But take a look at our finishing group here with Winker, Barker in the top fives. Gardner come through to fourth. Crosby in fifth. Just a very interesting top five here tonight.
Really interesting. Winker is in the waiting room. Let's see if we can move him.
Let's see if we can get him. Let's see. Now I can't see the waiting room. Are you serious? Can you see the waiting room? I got it now. But I can't.
Yeah, I saw it, but it doesn't move. Yeah, I moved him, but it didn't move.
But it didn't move. All right, with that being said, folks, unfortunately, it doesn't look like interviews are going to happen. Zab, it was a blast tonight, buddy.
It sure was. It was a fantastic, and I hope everybody watching enjoyed. We did our part. So did the drivers to give us the entertainment on track, of course. That's where it all comes from. If we're watching anything that's entertaining, we can make it all work.
And as we sign off here tonight for the BMRL Network, me and Zab want to wish everybody in the States happy Thanksgiving come Thursday. Enjoy your turkey and stuff, and don't sleep too much, and watch some football games. And we'll see you right back here next week after Thanksgiving. Tonight, it's been Zab and Matt in the booth. And this has been a production by BMRL Network. We will see you next time out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zab Bun. It was a ton of fun, bud.
It was great fun, and everybody have the great rest